I just realized there's the Drew there, right there. All right, welcome back. Hi. I'm gonna go do my dailies really, really fast, and then I will be back, and we'll do some questing, and then I seriously need to go play something else. But I am just enjoying this map so very much that it's really hard for me to want to leave. But I gotta. So, okay, I'm gonna go do my dailies. Be right back. Okay. Finished my daily writs. You're gonna hear them popping. We did a quick not a character change. We did a wardrobe change. I dyed this outfit. It's default a baby blue, which just doesn't fit my character's aesthetic. So we did red and black and gold, of course. I kept Xander in his traditional black. Let's see. I came over. Oh, I know it. My quest log is really full, and I have to do something about that. The undented Daggerfall. I don't know if I want to go to that to clear that up. I don't know. Alright, well, let's stick with here. Where? Right there, so we gotta circle around. It shows them here. How do I navigate this road? Why is this road so complicated? Okay, here we go.
Fight for the Weald. Paid opportunities
Now you hear about the job postings. Westwield's Legion could use some capable hands.
Sure, I read your job notice. What kind of work is the Legion offering?
What aren't we offering at this point? My colleagues, Commandant Salirius, Lieutenant Agrance, and Legionary Jada have a variety of tasks that need to be dealt with.
Sure, I'm interested in the work. Where do I start?
Excellent. If you prefer to work alone, talk to Commandant Salirius. If you prefer to work as part of a team, find Lieutenant Agrance. If you wish to test your mettle against truly monstrous foes, speak to Legionary Jada. And take the... If you think you're ready, then off you go.
Thank you. You were the one that I always gotta talk to. Okay. Alright. That was cool. That was cool. Alright. It's him that I want to keep in mind with since I'm a solo player. Alright. Now I got that off my list. A path in chaos. Alright, let's get out of here. This way. What? Are you guys dirt napping or napping? You're dead. You're dead. Why are you dead? Did someone murder you while we weren't looking? Well, none of my business. Oh, read it. I don't want to.
What can an Arcanist do for
I just need to read it. Perfect.
Good find, cohort.
What do we got? Where am I? Ooh, I gotta go here. That's something. Yes. This way? Turn down this way?
What does it mean?
This way, right? Gosh, why is there so many quests? Oh!
I just abandoned them. To die. Ah, you stopped. Good. I need help. Well, my expedition needs help. We were trying to recover an artifact from the Lucent Citadel, but we were attacked. I don't know who else survived. I just ran through a portal and wound up here.
Hermaeus Morris for a follower. What's the Lucent Citadel?
It's an ancient Daedric fortress buried in the sands of Fargrave. We thought we were the only ones there, but we were wrong. It all happened so quickly. I hope you can help them.
You know who attacked you?
Nelatai would know. Nothing escapes her notice. If you think you can help us, please find her. She's wealthy and doesn't care for mortal currency, so I know she'd make it worth your while. Please say you'll go.
All right, I'll go talk to him.
If you have any friends, you might want to ask them to join you. I don't know if the expedition is still under attack or what is happening. It could be exceedingly dangerous. The portal is there, whenever you're ready.
I don't want to take it, actually. The tribute. Battleground. And then... Abandoned. Thank you. I know. You told me your sob story. I heard it. I just really don't want to do it. You gotta listen to me, lady. I don't like people. Okay, that's not true. I like people just fine. I just don't want to do group quests. I don't. I've been so burnt out by grouping with people. I'm tired. Hey, let's go talk to the stable master over here.
We cannot teach horses to run faster or farther, but take good care of them, and they figure it out on their own.
My speed, please. Where am I going? Let's see. Where? Okay. Oh, I need to keep going. Okay. I gotta circle around town. Very, very nice town that I probably should explore in full depth. Wild Burn Great Bear. Whoosh. He does look like a crazy bear. What is going on here? This doesn't look right. Something looks wrong here. Hello? I may regret this, but what's going on?
I was beginning to think...
Hello. I'm a legionary in the West Weald Legion. Have you had any experience tracking creatures? How would you like to perform a great service for Count Calantius of Skingrad?
That depends. What do you need?
Recently, the Count's entourage was investigating the nearby devastation when twisted creatures attacked us. The Count escaped, but his pet bear cub, Lord Svendelmore of the Burnt Biscuits, who we just call Burn Biscuit, fled deeper into the region.
Sorry to hear that. How can I help?
I promised the Count that I would not return without his pet. Burn Biscuit's probably near where the entourage was attacked. Let me mark it on your map. We should start the search there. I'm sure the Count will provide a reward for your help.
All right. I hope you find the Count's pet bear.
We must find the Count's lost bear cub. He's somewhere in the devastated area.
Tell me about this bear.
Burn Biscuit? He's a cub that the Count rescued on his travels. He's a little scamp, always poking his nose into things. He gets his name from eating burned biscuits in the kitchen. And he loves apples. Can't get enough.
That sounds adorable.
He is. He and the Count have been inseparable. Now that he's missing, Count Calantius will be bereft with grief. We need to bring him back.
How did you get your injuries?
I went out on my own to go find Burn Biscuit, but the twisted creatures around the expedition's wreckage were much stronger than I'd expected, especially the bog dogs, as if they weren't a menace before.
Why don't you return to Skingrad and heal up? I'll go find the cub.
Oh, I appreciate your concern, but I refuse to leave without Burn Biscuit. It's my duty as a legionary to fulfill the wishes of Count Calantius and the people of Skingrad, even at the cost of my own life.
I actually am a bit of a healer. I would heal you if I could. Huh. That looks bad.
Someday you'll make something surprising with that.
You think? You think there, sir? Ooh, a note. Proclamation of neutrality in the current conflict by order of Count Clanantis of the County of Skingrad, whereas the Emperor of Cyrodiil is currently in turmoil due to internal politics and rival factions, and whereas Skingrad and Westweld are vital domains within the Empire, and whereas our dedication to the Empire requires us to protect the Empire's land from all threats, foreign and domestic, and whereas the County of Skingrad remains loyal to the Ruby Throne and not to any specific faction or leader, now it is hereby proclaimed that Skingrad and Westweld, from its eastern borders to the Gold Coast in the west, will be held as neutral territory in the trust of the Ruby Throne. Therefore, Skingrad will support and maintain all non-aligned Imperial forces within its confines, including, but not limited to, the Legion of Westweld, its garrisons, and its defensive forces. Therefore, Skingrad will not recognize the authority of eternal factions within the Empire, including, but not limited to, the Aldmeri Dominion, the Ebonheart Pact, and the Daggerfall Covenant. These forces and the representatives have no authority within Westweld. Therefore, any activities by these factions within Westweld will be opposed by the people and defensive forces of Skingard and its loyal domains. Proclaimed and signed this day before the local lords of Aldermen of Colavia. Olivia? I don't know. I make up how to say its name every other time. Oh, the door's locked. Okay, I was just coming to check to see. I didn't pay attention the first time. Alright, there is a teleporter over here that I am going to have to... What is going on over there? Gross. Gross. What is happening in this poor, poor land? It's so pretty. And then suddenly it got demonic. If you're looking at chat, which appears in the lower left, I know it's very small, but there's a roleplay happening in there. The roleplays are sometimes fun to read. Hello, Mr. Bear? Mr. Bear? I got apples. Oh, I'm not even close. Wait. Where am I going? Burnt biscuits. Oh, it's that way. Yeah, I'm not even close. Goodness. I knew I wasn't close after I realized that that guy wasn't following me anymore. The Book of Circles freed us Maxus. Thus unfreed us, faithful ones, do we consider these maxims of the Master. When your foe takes his ease, make him toil. When your foe is full, remind him of hunger. When your foe seeks his bed, wake him. When your foe longs for home, keep him in the field. When your foe is ready to take the field, keep him at home. When your foe prepares for you, do not taste. What your foe does not prepare for you is a banquet laid out on a golden table. That's actually, quite, No puppy. Or kitty. Oh. Bad kitty.
Another chance at perfection.
A bunch of legionnaires happen to die right here. That's... He ate you guys for breakfast. And probably lunch. What is an ugly tortoise?
A most gratifying resolution. Onward and upward.
Bad bear. Bad bear. What was that? I knew I was walking into trouble, but what was it? What are you? A Wamasu? What is a Wamasu doing here? Oh, they're like zest or something. You can see like the dark blue fuzzy or mist, gas, whatever.
Quality material makes for quality goods.
So I'm not sure if it is true in Elder Scrolls, but quite often in sci-fi stories like this, when you see dead land like this, it means something used the life force of this land to feed into something else.
I came as quick as I could. Ah, that's something. Those bite marks are definitely from a troll. That's a troll claw. But look at the bluish smoke.
A prosperous
Definitely
discovery.
one of those warped creatures.
Yeah, I happen to notice the warped creatures. The Vashabar threat. I fear the denizens of Vashabar within the new forest, which they call Dawnwood, may be more than the idle tree lovers we originally perceived them to be. The settlement is built atop Iliad ruins and thoroughly ensconced in the thick green foliage and wild growth that has never been seen in the region before. As we are dealing with wood elves, I find this development rather disturbing and vaguely threatening. I spent several days observing the movements of the wood elves in Vashabar as instructed. Remaining unseen in the forest was not difficult, but the excessive greenery did ease my mind as to what the wood elves intend for the West World. The size and density of the trees is shocking, especially given how recently the forests sprang up. It does not bode well for the farmlands and vineyards that feed Colivia. As the wood elves themselves, many of them appear to be simple laborers and gatherers. Okay, hold one sec. I want to grab this before some player comes up behind me and grabs it. And how I'm breaking the immersion.
Any coinage of unusual make? Worth examining later.
Mud crab apples. Look at those cute little bite marks. This is definitely Burn Biscuits doing.
Back to the Vashbar thread. They typically use leather targets, painted animal hinds, but I once saw them use a standard issue Legion helmet as a target. They laughed with glee when a particular gifted archer shot the plume off the top. I do not know how they acquired that helmet, and I loathe to dwell on it. As I have illustrated above, we must not forget the Wood Elves' proficiency with ranged weapons. Any Legion troops patrolling the border of the New Forest should be heavily armored in order to keep their helmets on whenever they are in sight of the thick trees. A good portion of the Wood Elves also show a zealous devotion to their king, Netharian. He is the greatest cause for concern. Though his charismatic leadership, he was able to unite multiple clans of Wood Elves to form a new settlement nearly overnight. His reputation alone may attract more followers to the region. This is certainly grounds for further surveillance, and Legion reinforcements along the border of the forest. If given the chance, I believe Netharian would gladly expand the bounds of Vashabar, snaking his roots into the fertile land of Calivia. Under no circumstances should he be left unchecked. Until I receive new orders, I will continue my observations. I diligently await your further instructions.
Let's discuss what you found.
I found this claw, a gnawed plank, and these chewed up apples.
Your most important find are these mud crab apples. Look at the dainty tooth marks on them. Burn Biscuit definitely nibbled on them. He may have dragged off a bag of them. We can follow the trail.
But what about the claw and the tooth marked plank?
That's more troubling. Those are definitely troll marks, but we weren't attacked by a troll. That troll may be tracking Burn Biscuit. Oh, poor cub. You have to find him and lead him back here.
How do I lead him back?
Count Calandius gave me his favorite treat. The bear's favorite, I mean, not the Count's. Mud crab apple fritters. Take them, feed them to Burn Biscuit, and he'll follow you back here. Hurry, and watch out for that troll.
Okay, Burn Biscuit. This way.
Tentaculus eruptum!
Oh, little Burn Biscuit. He's just a tiny little guy.
We can use this.
Oh, Burn Biscuit. You are like a painted dog. Yeah. Okay, come on, little dude. You coming? Okay.
By Akatosh, Burn Biscuit. I mean, Lord Svendelmore. I'm so glad you're back. Let's talk, traveler. You found him. Great work.
I think this is the bear you're looking for?
Great job, friend. I'm so relieved. Head to Skingrad. Count Calandius has an office there, near the chapel. He'll want to reward you. I'll bring along Burn Biscuit and meet you there.
All right. Well, it's not going to be right this second. But we're going to go this way. And go this way. There is some weird creatures that normally aren't found here. Like this guy is not normally found here. want to play with them.
Come, Proxy. Things here are more dire than I suspected.
What's up, Lermo?
Proxy, your arrival is well timed. A tangle in the threads of fate grows like a knot around the outcast inn. Something frays the bonds of cause and effect here. If they snap, the results would be catastrophic.
What's causing these tangles, Lermo?
I cannot discern its origin. Hermaeus Mora gifted me an ability to perceive the threads of fate. This tangle painfully overwhelms that very gift whenever I try to approach the inn. Someone without such sight must act as my agent, namely you.
Oh, well, what do you want me to do?
Pass through this tangle and enter the inn. Find the source of this disturbance. Stop it however you can. I cannot assist you in this. You shall stand alone against a force that tangles fate and unravels reality. Succeed and you shall be rewarded.
Well, that sounds exciting. I'll enter the inn and find the source of this disturbance.
If we allow the tangle in fate to persist, our localized reality could collapse. In short, we would all cease to exist. Enter the inn while I research this phenomenon. And hurry, Proxy. Even at this distance, the disturbance causes me great pain.
Alright, what can you tell me about this inn?
As I understand it, the Outcast Inn was an unremarkable establishment prior to this. In Skingrad, I learned that a new owner purchased it recently and had started to make repairs. I know little else. Perhaps anyone you find inside can tell you more.
Okay. Thank
Go
you.
where I cannot, Proxy. Untangle this knot of fate.
I will. I will. Hold on, I gotta pillage. This feels weird.
Another apparition? Oh, you're real. Please, come in. What can I get you?
What is going on here?
Yes, please come in. Stay for a while. Just pay no mind to the crack in the sky outside or those shadows. Ignore them and have a drink. All right, I can't ignore them either. It all started when the woman at the table by the fire came in.
Who is she?
I don't know her from a skeever's ass, but she's absolutely the cause of my problems. Right after she arrived, the sky changed, and those shadows started roaming my inn. Then she sat by the fire without a word.
She hasn't made any requests?
Not a one. But a good innkeep can guess what a customer needs. And she needs a drink. Something to wake her up. A Skyrim sunrise. I can't leave my patrons with these shadows, though. Could you go to the well and fetch some water? You'll drink free.
That's a deal. I'll go get water from the well for you.
The well's out back in the courtyard. Bring me a bucket of water, and I'll mix up a Skyrim sunrise. That should get her talking. Then I can ask her to move along and take this strangeness with her. She's scaring my customers.
Can you tell me about the Outcast Inn?
Bought the place almost a year ago. It's old Colobian. Late First Era, I'm told. The seller claimed Riemann III slept here, but I don't see how she'd know that. I had big dreams for this place. Don't know if they'll work out now.
What sort of dreams?
I wanted to turn this establishment into a high-end place known for its most unusual drinks. All for a reasonable cost for the common traveler. I concoct my own recipes from scratch, you know. Everyone deserves a drink made with skill and care.
Why is it called the Outcast Inn?
Almost every innkeep apprenticeship I ever had kicked me out. They said my drink ideas were too complicated. Really hurt at the time. When I could afford to buy my own place, I named it after how I felt back then. Showed them, didn't I?
Did you always want to be an innkeep?
Always. Making drinks is like alchemy. And I like taking care of strangers. I finally found someone who believed in me, Millie. She suggested I buy this place and provided some of the funds. I need to keep this place open. Honor her belief in me.
I hear you. It's Athilia. She's our prince that we're looking for. I have the soundtrack pretty quiet, to be honest. But the music for this section is actually really nice. Open tabs. Requested immediate payment. Interesting. Someone was playing a type of poker. What is going on here?
Found it!
Being weird. Gross. Ugh, that's a gross sound. Sorry, Xander. So one thing about roleplay, there's quite a bit of it in Elder Scrolls Online, and I guess kind of think of it as like Dungeons and Dragons or any kind of tabletop game. They're really role playing, and I love that for them. And it, but it usually, of course, happens later in game. It's very rarely do you see it early on. Why are you running? Where are we running from? Is there something down here I should be aware of? The carrots. I see the cellar. Nothing good can come from the cellar, right? Looks scared. Are you scared?
Mortal, help me. Please. I don't know if you can understand me. My mind is a storm of images and voices and memories. I can see every reality all at once. The many paths. But my grip on this realm keeps slipping. But you... I see that you are real.
Well, hi, pretty prince. Can you tell me who you are and what you're doing here?
My name is Athelia. I am what mortals call a Daedric prince. My power... I feel myself losing control. These echoes, I summoned them, but I did not mean to. The inn... it drew me here, called to me. I need something it can provide.
What are the many paths?
Possibilities. Probabilities, places where fate takes a different course. Some lead to here, others to there. And a few they lead to... elsewhere. But this place, it has something I need.
What do you need?
A phrase emerges from the storm. Sage's dream. Yes, that's it. A drink, I think. It tastes of belonging. Cohesion. The innkeeper, ask him to make this drink for me. Quickly, before the storm takes me again.
Alright, I'll ask the innkeeper to make you a sage's dream.
I remember so little about myself. Why is that? Did someone... Yes. Mora, he did this. But Sage's dream... I know it can help me even as the details slip away. Please, ask the innkeeper. I feel certain he knows something.
Tell me what you do remember.
I am Athelia, the Daedric Prince of Paths, the mistress of the untraveled road. I am... confused. Sometimes an event surges into memory. Fear, anger, and resignation erupt all at once. And then I lose my grasp and forget again.
I'm gonna be right back. You stay there.
Well, at least she's finally talking. That's better than I ever managed. I hope you told her to get out of here. My remaining customers are starting to talk about settling their bill and finding someplace less strange.
She said she mentioned a drink called Sage's Dream. She wants you to make it for her.
I knew she wanted a drink. But Sage's Dream? Never heard of it. And I've memorized every recipe in every edition of the Innkeeper's Helper. Wait, I just remembered. We might be in luck yet.
What did you remember?
The previous owner left junk all over the courtyard. I've been sorting through it and noticed a book on obscure and ancient drinks. Maybe it contains a recipe for Sage's Dream. Go back there and find that book.
Okay, I'll search the inn's courtyard for the book on obscure drinks.
Gilredal's Book of Obscure and Ancient Spirits. That's the book's name. Search around the courtyard behind the inn. Also, try the outbuilding in the far back. I found junk in there, too. Bring me the book, and we'll see if it has the recipe we need.
Let's see. I thought operating a tavern would make my life simpler, not filled with angry and drunk customers, vendors who cheat me, tax agents, and so on. Perhaps I should have performed more thorough research instead of jumping in with both feet. Another lesson from Akatosh for this old monk. Today, an older woman entered the tavern wearing quite a stunning red hat. Well, as an older man myself, I certainly took notice of her. Respectfully, of course. Even though I'm no longer a monk, my dedication to manners still holds. Plus, I was never leecherious? Leech. I don't know how to say that word. Even in my younger days. Why am I justifying myself to my own diary? Anyway, I performed the normal tavern owner ritual and asked what I could get her. To my surprise, she requested strong whiskey. Typical people for her class ask for more refined drinks, not something that could put a mule to sleep. I dutifully retrieved the bottle, then while pouring, I casually asked her name. I hope it was casual. She said her name was Lenora. Divines, what a beautiful name. I had dinner with Lenora again this evening, this time at her home. We discussed our lives and our hopes for what's left of them. I expressed that despite the surprising complexity, I enjoyed owning my tavern. I like to see more customers come through, maybe higher entertainment. We discussed this for some time when she suddenly had the idea of expanding into a full inn. I could add a second floor with beds and provide meals for those who stay. The idea struck such a chord with me that I began planning it almost immediately. Perhaps it reminded me of my time in the monastery taking care of my brothers, a task I enjoyed immensely. Yes, I think this is exactly what I should do. Lenora moved in with me today. I previously slept on a small bed in a side room, plenty for me alone, but I surprised her with a brand new large bed, large enough for both of us. We'll live out the second largest room upstairs. I'll leave the largest for my biggest spenders. My life as a monk was good, fulfilling, interesting, and spiritual, but my life as an innkeep, I've never had better. Okay, sorry. Work asked me a question. I answered. Oh, jeez. I think we read that. Yeah, not that one. What are those? Mirror worms? That was really gross. I don't like it at all. But for being as gross looking as they look, they're actually fairly peaceful, so I guess I'll take my win. I think I'm lagging. Named after named after historical event of dubious truth, the time storm claims to wipe the memory of any who drink it. The more a person consumes, the more time is lost, or so it is claimed. The recipe originated in elsewhere during the reign of Maine Jinagiri. Surviving descriptions reveal the flavor was as smooth as a well-groomed fur that then blasts the moisture from your mouth like the desert sands. It's ginseng, 3 shavings of metal dragon's tongue, whole brandy, 2 jiggers, stewed jiggers with the J. Jiggers. With the J. Stewed cactus nettles, 1 handful. The sage's dream, The name of this rare drink comes down to us from the ancient journal found within Iliad ruins. Experts of that long-gone culture speculate that servants kept these journals instead of more educated nobles. While surprising, this makes sense when one surveys the contents. Quickly scribbled dinner requests from lords, sketch dinner table layouts, and ideas for new beverages can all be found within their pages. The most notable recipe was for the drink named Sage's Dream by the author. The description only states for our Lord of Fate, though which Iliad king or queen that refers to has been lost to me. Unfortunately, the ingredients have long gone extinct from Tamriel, which makes reproducing the drink impossible. Substitutions can be made if one wishes a distant approximation. The journal describes the drink's taste as sharp on the tongue when it first enters the mouth, then it mellows into an intoxicating sweetness. Underneath the primary flavors rests a bitterness that rounds out the experience. The recipe is turum weeds, 1 stalk, fresh hark fruit juice, half a fruit squeezed, loot berries, 3, no more, no less. Blend into under heat and pressure until tyrium weed dissolves and color turns burgundy. The exploding pony. This drink's name comes from the 2-tier effect it has after consuming it. At first, it evokes a gentle flavor, like brandalion tea, that lasts long enough to feel safe, and then a new flavor bursts onto the tongue. It arrives with such force that many people spit out the drink from shock. At least 3 people claim to have heard an audible pop. If the drink remains in the mouth, the new flavor tastes of raw honey, but with a licorice tint. Due to the dual action effect of the exploding pony, tavern owners advise to not swallow until after the change occurs. The explosion will still occur in the stomach, and while it's not dangerous, can make some feel nauseous. It takes lady smock, shredded nettle, anise, half cup sylph gin, half cup crushed bloodroot stems, at least 6. Okay, well, we got our recipe. Oh, that thing fell down from there. Whoa. Whoa. It's like we're under a glass dome with cracks in the sky. And those are not our normal planets. Am I lagging? I might have crashed. Oh no. Okay. What are we doing? Okay, we gotta return to the innkeeper. Alright. I believe it's the same quest for you guys, or same episode for you guys, but I had to leave for a day, and now I'm back. But that sky, oh what? And why is everybody yelling?
Quality material makes for quality goods.
She hasn't moved once since you left. I tried talking to her, but she only muttered quietly to herself. I'd almost feel bad for her if I wasn't losing sales. Oh, did you find that book on obscure drinks?
Yes, I did. It describes a drink made by the Iliads called the Sage's Dream.
An Iliad drink? Odd. This inn was built on Iliad ruins. Just a coincidence. Tyrum weed, hark fruit juice, loot berries. I've never even heard of these ingredients. I can mimic that flavor profile, though. Just need some substitutions.
What? Excuse me. Can you substitute for those ingredients?
I need to think about it. Maybe some frost miriam? Oh, some lotus might work. In the meantime, I need to make some syrup. Go to the cellar and grab some sugar. I'll keep thinking about this until you get back.
I'll go look for sugar in the cellar.
Reproducing a sage's dream sounds like a fun challenge. It'll certainly take my mind off of what's happening to my inn. You'll find stairs to the cellar in the room behind you. It opens up into an old ruin, but don't mind that.
Of course it opens up to an old ruin. You never heard of the ingredients in that recipe?
Never. I've learned about drinks from across Tamria, and none of these ingredients sound familiar. But that won't stop me. Maybe we can bring this drink back into popularity.
Your cellar connects to the old ruins?
Oh, sure. You'll find these old ruins all across Colovia. The first owner built the inn on top of some. Whoever dug out the cellar broke through into ruins and just left it that way. I use it for storage now.
Perfect. Perfect. I'm not in the correct room, am I? Something gonna come eat my face.
Something hides here. I feel its hatred thick and sour. Perhaps I can call it to us. This horrid relic rose from the ground. I need to talk.
Oh, well, you followed me.
When you left, I was compelled to follow. I saw an image of you entering this chamber, and I knew I had to be here with you. But then this awful lamp appeared, rudely popping out of nowhere. I hate the damned thing!
Why do you hate this lamp?
The storm in my head. Remember? I cannot focus through all the overlapping paths. I think this damned lamp was used against me, but I cannot understand how. Could you pick it up? I wished to examine it, but could not stand holding the horrid thing.
I have to say they're doing really good in the DLCs, making NPCs that visually stand out. I mean, she's quite unique looking. All right, I'll get the lamp.
Over here. I sense a path that wishes to be explored. Shine the lamp, please.
Hi, guys. Some skelly bones. Do drink himself? To bone status. Okay.
I know this. A doorway to the many paths. Step through and I will follow. My power abandons me here. I will follow if I can.
The enemy approaches. They come to imprison my prince.
No, Torvazard. They are different. Approach, Pathwalker, and speak with me. A mortal Pathwalker. Such a creature is quite rare. And I see you are accompanied by one of my reflections. An Athelia from a different path. You carry something else with you. It feels like hatred. Tell me, why have you come to my reality?
The other Athelia can't control her power. She's a threat to my reality. This lamp led us here.
The Lamp of Clarity. A relic created to hunt me and my unseen. It carries a spark of its creator Azora within. That gives it a bit of awareness. It must know that your Athelia poses a threat. But why lead you to me?
Athelia asked for a drink called Sage's Dream. She thinks it will help bring her clarity.
Ah. Sage's Dream is the mortal name for our connection to the many paths. It manifests as a drink, but is brewed from ingredients infused with my very own essence. Drinking it will reconnect my reflection to the many paths, and stabilize her power.
Where do I get the ingredients?
They bloom in my shadow, or in the shadows of other Athelias. Each path's ingredient is unique. You can find Tiramweed here, but the rest grows in other realities. Take what you need, Pathwalker. Then you must leave before my fellow princes arrive.
What's going on here, Athelia?
This is my end, Pathwalker. Hermaeus Mora has declared me a threat to reality and comes to imprison me. I am tired of fighting. It is the same on every path I have examined. If this is my fate, so be it. Take my Tiramweed and go with my blessing.
Can I ask you about the many paths?
How strange. A mortal who walks the many paths without understanding them. Between that, keeping company with my reflection, and bearing the lamp of clarity, you intrigue me. Very well. Ask your questions.
Can you describe the many paths to me, please?
Not in any way your mortal mind would understand. I do not wish to drive you mad. An analogy, perhaps. Picture a diamond that somehow formed around a spiderweb, interweaving lines within a grander, fixed shape. That is the many paths.
Fine, but how do they work?
Possibilities scatter across the Orbis, each defined by distinct choices, with unique outcomes that lead to new realities. The many paths are the web that binds them. Some can traverse these connections, as you have done here.
And you control the many paths?
Control? No. But I have the power to see them, to follow their threads and alter their fates. It is one of the things that Hermaeus Mora respects about me. And the one thing he fears the most.
What's strange about a mortal entering the many paths?
The mortal mind is limited. Intentionally so. Comprehending the many paths should overwhelm you, and actually traversing them should be impossible. I can barely do that. You are unique among your kind. Thus the title I give you, Pathwalker.
What do you mean intentionally so?
Mortals are servants, performing tasks to maintain reality. Every field plowed, child born, or war fought, keeps the Orbis stable by design. This fact is kept from them. The slaves should not understand the Master's plan, lest they seek to undo them.
Why did you call it the Athelia from my path reflection?
Each reality bound by the many paths contains a version of an entity, mortal or Daedra. They each differ in some way, but each springs from the same seed. I am no different. She and I are the same, but distorted, like an image in a cracked mirror.
I'm curious about a different topic.
Most mortals quake in fear at my presence, or demand one boon or another. But all you seek is knowledge. Interesting. Ask your questions then, Pathwalker.
Can you tell me anything about the Athelia from my reality?
I suppose so. If she's lost control of her power, then she needs someone to stabilize her. It seems she chose you for this task. The more information you have, then, the better.
Help me understand the Lamp of the Clarity's purpose.
Once Hermaeus Mora chose my fate, he recruited other Daedric princes to aid in my capture. Azora answered his call by creating the Lamp of Clarity. Its light exposes my location on a path, or, as you have seen, reveals doorways to the many paths.
Why would it aid me now?
I am as curious as you. Perhaps it does not aid you, but only appears to. Azora's essence may have a purpose of its own, and you are only along to see that purpose fulfilled. I hope you find your answer as you continue your journey.
Why wouldn't Athelia lose control of her powers?
An extended separation from the many paths, perhaps. Oh, yes, I see it now. Your Athelia already suffered Mora's punishment. Her power was stripped from her when she was locked away. She needs to calm the storm as her power seeks to return to her.
One sec. I keep getting distracted by her because she's so fascinating looking and detailed. Look at her costume. You can actually see the stitching, and it doesn't look like it's melted into her skin. How many NPCs have we seen that while their stuff has decorations, it's like it's embedded into their skin? But this doesn't look like that. They did a good job. I like it. Okay. I'm curious about a different topic.
Most mortals quake in fear at my presence.
Why does Hermaeus Mora see you as a threat?
Another. The Prince of Fate foresees a cataclysm approaching. I used my ability to manipulate the many paths to prevent one disaster. But now Mora sees my efforts as the predecessor to something even more terrible. He feels he must imprison me. And I agree.
Why would you agree to be imprisoned for something you haven't done yet?
Do not fear, mortal. I have a plan. My scions will one day set me free, after I have had sufficient time to figure out how to avert the disaster Mora predicts.
Poor Rissard. It's been a few days, my friend. Not so friend.
I found your conversation with my prince very interesting. A mortal walking the many paths, and in service of the Fate Changer. I must respect that. I hope you find what you need to help your Athelia. Maybe you'll succeed where I have failed.
Aw, Torvisard. Squish, squish. He's okay. We'll fix it. What's going on here?
Other Daedric princes, led by Hermaeus Mora, approach, coming to imprison Athelia. Despite my protests, she refuses to resist them. After all the battles, I do not understand why she now chooses to just surrender. It makes no sense.
Oh, that would be maddening for you, wouldn't it? Poor guy. He spent that whole, 30 hours in the previous game? In the Necrom? Trying to just remember her and then figure out what why was his memory erased? Okay, and you?
Why does my prince allow this mortal to speak with her? Hermaeus Mora and the other betrayers approach. We have no time to waste with mortal nonsense.
Oh, where I come from, you and I are enemies. Except, not really. Our character's not. Our character has made buddies with Hermaeus Mora. But anyway, besides the point. Where I come from, you and I are enemies.
You are my enemy, yet you still live. And perhaps there is more to you than I thought, mortal. Or more likely, the Vargas of your path is a coward who runs from battles. Either way, should you start a fight here, I will end you quickly.
Alright, calm your shit. Hold on, lady.
Another Athelia. So powerful and proud. Collect the ingredient and let us go back, mortal.
The Hunter's Journey to the Imperial Reserve. I first discovered my love of hunting in my own backyard, so to speak. I grew up in the Colovian highlands and the grasslands of the Imperial Reserve, were a mere half-day's walk from my father's house. From the time I was old enough to string a bow, I used to slip away to roam the reserve and try my luck. Deer, antelope, pheasant, and the occasional west-wild boar abounded in the finest hunting ground between Cyrodiil and the Gold Coast. Given the abundant game, I came to appreciate why the old Imperiors kept the place for themselves. My father told me that the Imperial WritWorthy used to love hunting in these lands, and in fact he loved it a lot more than sitting on the ruby throne and trying to run the Empire. So he told his potentate to deal with business in Cyrodiil while he built himself a villa near Weatherlea. His only official act was to declare a vast swath of his plains his own personal game reserve. For a century or so, no one but the occasional poacher dared to take the Emperor's deer, but the potentate would follow the Reman empires weren't interested in paying to guard herds. They never personally hunted. The Imperial Reserve gradually became just a name on a map in the White Gold Tower. Soon, ordinary people of Colovia, including my father and myself, quietly resumed hunting in the area, and why not? I've hunted all over Tamriel. I've tracked mammoths in Skyrim, speared Nyx oxen in Morrowind, and skinned Wamasu in Black Marsh. But I come back to the Imperial Reserve in Clovia at least once a year for the simple pleasure of a good clean hunt in the land where I was born, especially in the fall when the air is crisp and the bucks are in the rut. I'll see you on the hunt. Alright, Until We Wander Home Again, a traditional wood elf folk song. I've walked many winding forest trails, followed tracks without pause or thought. But in all my restless journeys, dear, yours is the only path I've ever sought. We used to amble side by side, your hand fit mine like a well-worn glove. But this familiar path looks different now. But I can't recall the face of my one love. What once was clear is almost gone, like the fading of a favorite song. I'll walk these paths that fork and bend until I wander home again. I used to know this weary road, every tree and rock that mark the way. But time has passed and things have changed. Memories slip and soon decay. Thoughts of you guide me through the wood, like the fleeting specter of the coming dawn. But once I reach our cherished spot, the memory returns and you are gone. What once was clear is almost gone, like the fading of a favorite song. We walk these paths that fork and bend until we wander home again. Until we wander home again. You know, I see it. Apocrypha. No, thank you. There's a chime sound that's playing in the background that actually kind of hurts my ears. And I don't know if you can hear it. Oh, it's not a chime so much a pulsing? Anyway, doesn't matter. Let's take the weed.
Here, I offer you a path home. Take it with my blessing.
Thank you.
My patience with you has reached its end, Pathwalker. Soon, Mora's forces will storm this place and imprison me for an eternity. I suggest you not be here when they arrive.
Oh, alright. Well, that's very solid advice. What Hermaeus gives, Mora takes. Okay.
A new path appears. Use the lamp, mortal. So much of the path we just walked was familiar to me. The shrine, my scions. I remember it now. When Hermaeus, Mora, and the others arrived. Took my power. Locked me away. I had a plan as well, but I do not remember just surrendering like that.
If you didn't surrender, what did you do?
I sent Torvasard and the other scions away. They had to remain hidden, free to act when the time was right. The rest is still unclear. We learned much on that path about the Lamp of Clarity and Sage's Dream. So much of the path we just... Step through. Let us see where this path takes us. Dread fills this path. Find the ingredient, but use caution. We are not welcome here.
I don't think that's ever particularly stopped me from doing anything. Now, in theory, she should probably really hate my character, right? Because we're Hermaeus Mora blessed. Or maybe that's not even something she's aware of. If you forgot, we're Arcanist, and the reason why we glow green is because we're Hermaeus Mora blessed. Our stuff comes from knowledge from him.
A divergence point. Ha!
How the Eucadins chased the stars. And the Eucadins, who was also called the Starman, studied the stars and charted their movements. He saw that when the warrior was high in the sky, victory followed, and when the warrior was gone from the sky, came famine and desolation. He charted this path across the seasons through 2 risings and settings. He recorded the warrior's astral path. And the Starman said to his kinsmen, "Let us follow the warrior, find the place where he rests, and pledge ourselves to him, so that victory will follow us all our days. Then never again will we suffer famine and desolation." And it was agreed. The Starmen led the Eucadons by ship, following the path of the warrior across mountains and vast deserts. And victory followed them, and famine and desolation fled before them. And the warrior chargers were 3, the lord, the lady, and the steed, and they paid homage to these with gifts and incense. And where the warrior was at his apex, there they ended their journey. There they built a temple and a tomb for all the warriors who had died on the journey, and in death the warrior honored them and made them his eternal guardians, undying as the stars and as numerous. The place where they stopped has not been marked on any map, but any who wish to find it must only do as they did and follow the warrior. When it's not so dangerous, actually, I probably can do it now. The warrior, the healer, and I can't remember the thief. I think. I don't remember what the 3 are. I'm pretty sure it's healer, warrior, thief. They're constellations, big constellations, and they all play a big part in our skill sets. You can strengthen your skills by applying certain points, basically like praying to the different constellations. I hope I'm doing this justice. I don't know. 100 hours later, and I'm like, did I forget to tell you guys fundamentals about the game? I don't know. And it's also a reminder to myself. I mean, to be honest, it's been so long since 100 hours later, I need a refresher course. Nothing in here?
That was intellectually stimulating.
Interesting character name, Shardborns. Inventory stays problems. The Night Mother's true. Wines of Westworld. The Imperials of Cyrodiil love one thing, and it is their wine. The best wine comes from the Clodian Highlands region of Westworld. Blessed with a wide variety of environments suitable for viticulture, the region is famous for its long, warm summers. Oh, forget. You guys don't need to encyclopedia of, of the wines.
Refreshing. Take it in. An opportunity for learning.
Things lost, things forgotten. Things lost, things forgotten. Things that may never have been. Memories fleeting and fragile. Impressions of things half seen. A scent sparks recollection. A song can bring a tear. A face seems so familiar. A memory so clear. Things lost, things forgotten. Things that may never have been. Memories fleeting and fragile. Impressions of things half seen. But time scatters things like windswept leaves. What's remembered fades like a dream. History a mystery, truth and lies. What you remember well may be different from I, such as the nature of things inside your mind. Things lost, things forgotten. Things lost, things forgotten. Why are the steeps always the stairs so steep?
Have Mora's forces finally come? Then I am finished.
No.
You do not belong here. But a reflection of the Prince of Pards travels with you. Have you come to revel at my defeat? To watch Hermaeus Mora imprison me? How shameful that I attract a mocking audience. Get on with your gloating then.
No, we are not here to gloat. I need a sage's dream so the Athelia of my reality can control her power.
Of course she lost control of her powers. All Athelias are fragile creatures. They break under the slightest pressure. Just like glass. How did you get here if my reflection cannot control her power? How did you walk the many paths?
This lamp of clarity opened the way. It's leading us to the sage's dream's ingredients.
My shardborn should gut you. Whether you intend it or not, this humiliates me even more. An item of my ruin born by a reflection who walks free. If it will get you to leave, I have Hark Fruit, one of the ingredients for Sage's Dream. Take it and go.
Okay, I'll grab that Hark Fruit.
Azora's lamp is not a friend to Athelia, Pathwalker. All the relics work to subdue us. If it helps make a Sage's Dream, it is not to empower my reflection. No matter. My fate here is sealed, so what do I care? Take your Hark Fruit and leave me.
A different reflection of Athelia accepted defeat. You seem not to be taking it as well.
Accepted? All that I am will soon vanish from reality. How could I possibly be comfortable with annihilation? No. I feel dread. Resentment. Anger. And totally ashamed by my obvious weakness.
What brought you to this point?
When word arrived of Hermaeus Mora's plan for me, I crumbled. My followers are loyal, but they couldn't face down the combined might of the other princes. What resistance we presented was quickly crushed. Another testament to my weakness.
What happens now for you and your followers?
Mora's army has surrounded the shrine and will soon pour in. I will have no choice but to let them imprison me. My followers may be locked away as well, or scattered across oblivion. It does not matter anymore. Let them come.
Sorry, broken
This
little bird.
reflection seems resigned to her fate. Quite different from the other. Let us get the ingredient and go.
Okay, in 1 minute. A mirror portal, a Glenner legend. In Far Grove, the celestial palanquin of Oblivion, a tale is told of a Glenner named Vinchel, who found a door to a place that never existed. Vinhill roamed the plains centuries ago. A seasoned traveler of strange realms, she tallied dozens of first sleeps, visiting places no mortal had seen before. Yet for every first sleep she reported, Vinhill kept another secret. It pleased her to know of things no one else even suspected. One day her return from the abandoned palace of a Daedric lord did not go as she intended. Instead of appearing in the plaza of portals near the comforts of the Bearer's Rest, she found herself out in a desert surrounding Far Grave. So far the giant bearers were mere bumps on the horizon. The Glenner resigned herself to a long walk home. How far she walked, she could not be sure, but in time she came to a portal atop a dune, a fracture of mirror-like shards without a frame or a border. She studied this portal a long time before she stepped through, since she had never seen one like it. But sooner or later, a Glenner must find out what lies on the other side of a door. That's the Glenner way. So she entered. At first she thought she had not gone anywhere at all. The landscape looked the same as the other side. But as Vinhill made her way down the slopes of the dune, the land began to change. The sand beneath her feet took on a shimmering silvery hue, and the ghostly shapes of ruined buildings materialized around her. The farther she walked, the more solid they seemed, until she found herself wandering in a deserted city of crystalline buildings and many-hued courts. Around her, Fargrave's desert still stretched away to the horizon. Somehow the city of the invisible existed in the same plane as the celestial palanquin, a reflection sequestered away behind the fracture she had stumbled across. She was determined to explore this hidden realm, yet she approached the heart of the ruins. She encountered a strange creature, a prismatic entity that towered over her on 3 sharp, pointed legs. It perceived her at once and charged. Judging this a good time to depart, she fled. She ran back to the mirror portal, jumping through, and the ghostly echo vanished. When at last she reached the walls of Fargrave, she sought answers about what she had found in the desert. No one knew of a place or could even guess at what it might be. That was bad enough, but then she found herself troubled by the feeling that she had forgotten something. She lingered in Fargrave, becoming more and more certain that something was terribly amiss, until she was half mad with undefined worry. She vanished a few months after her remarkable adventure. She was last seen trekking out into the Fargrave wilderness. No one had ever heard from her again. Where exactly her portal lies, and what it was she found on the other side, remain mysteries to this day, and a challenge for future Glenners to take up, if they have the courage. A gold road, a merchant's journey. I've been many things in my life. Soldier of fortune, innkeep, gambler, even a hired escort for a certain Nebulese ladies of high standing. By 3 summers past, I found myself with an urgent need to leave the imperial city, and me without a coin in my purse. In desperation, I hired myself out as a guard to the westbound merchant caravan I could find. My new employer was a grizzled, one-eyed Argonian called TBT. T-Bati? I could tell she had her doubts, but she simply shrugged. 2 crowns and 2 meals a day, she offered. If we reach Anvil with all our cargo attacked, I'll pay a 20-crown bonus and hire you again for the return trip. I had hoped for higher wages, but I was in no position to negotiate. I agreed and we set out shortly thereafter. T-Bati's caravan consisted of 3 wagons, 6 gore, and a half-dozen drivers and guards. Olive oil, pickled eel, and boats of ancestor soap packed in wooden trunks made up her cargo. I soon learned my employer expected her hired guards to walk, not ride. I was already footsore, but by the time we reached the end of the bridge over Lake Rumir, we turned south on the Red Wing Road, following the lake shore until we reached the Gold Road. That night we camped out at an old imperial mile gate, where TBT told me she expected guards to stand watch. Rather glum about the prospect of days spent walking and nights spent not sleeping, I considered abandoning the whole situation, but at least the food was decent. The Gold Road was a river of wagons and travelers. My feet hurt, yes, but the weather was fine and the scenery was rather pretty. On the second day, we paused by a place where crumbling ruins towered beside the road, and I started to wander that way for a closer look. Not a good idea, TBT advised me. The Gold Road is safe enough here, but danger lurks on all sides. Goblins, beasts, bandits, and stranger perils. Stranger perils like what? I asked. She pointed at the ruins. That is a Saya Tatar. Iliad ghosts haunt the place and are known to burn the curious alive. Oh, well, I'm not that curious after all, I said, and returned to the road. As the days passed, my feet toughened, and I came to enjoy the camaraderie of the caravan. Valistras, Skingrad, Ostomer, Vatch. One by one, the cities and towns of the Stridvale came up to meet us as we made our way over the westward. The Gold Road ran through endless fields of ripening grain, charming orchards, and belts of shady forest. At the Gottschall Inn, we crossed from Westweld into the Gold Coast proper. For the first time in days, we slept indoors. I was grateful for the respite, but TBT was ill at ease when we rose the next morning. What's the trouble? I asked. Strangers at the inn last night, she answered. They were asking questions about our cargo. Be vigilant today. They could be bandits planning an ambush. West of the inn, the Gold Road veers away from Stridvale into the Colovian foothills. Few people live in the area, and few travelers were few and far between. I gripped my sword hilt at every thicket we passed, but to no avail. The bandit she feared ambushed us in a ravine a few hours later. Drop your arms, surrender the wagons, and we'll let you live, the leader called down from the rocks above. Come and take them, dry skin, she shouted before I could open my mouth and urge a more cautious response. And that's exactly what the bandits did. Old TBT fought like a lion before she was felled by a quarrel in the back. Several of my newfound comrades fell as well, and the drivers of her last 2 wagons fled. They drove like a dragon was chasing them back toward Kvetch. The few brigands still standing pursued them. I managed to avoid serious injury, more by chance than skill. I'm a lover, not a fighter. When the dust settled, I found myself forgotten in a ravine beside our lead wagon. None but the Guar and the dead for company. Clearly, she would not complete her journey to Anvil, nor would she be able to pay me. But 2 trunks of fine silk remained in the wagon, and the road before me was clear. Farewell, TBT, I told my former employer. Then I took the reins and drove to Anvil and sold the silk. With the profits, I bought a cargo of my own, and so began my career as a merchant. What can I say? They call it the Gold Road for a reason. Uh-oh.
I saw how to open a doorway. Let us return to the inn's cellar. I sense this is the last path calling to me. Use the lamp here, mortal.
I had to wander away and get something to drink.
Like before, this path stirred up memories. I experienced the same dread before Hermaeus Mora's forces arrived. But I did not collapse like a coward. I commanded my Shardborn to resist, and they obeyed. The struggle, I recall, was epic.
You remember more of the events leading to your imprisonment?
I remember the armies of the other princes pounding on the doors to my shrine. My loyal Shardborn readying their weapons. The sounds of unrelenting battle. I recall the princes standing in judgment over me. Then, blackness.
The last Athelia claimed that the Lamp of Clarity wasn't actually helping you.
She is correct. I should not trust Azura's lamp. But it led us to 2 ingredients needed for a sage's dream, and now we have tiramweed and hawk fruit. 1 more and we can make the drink, and then I can regain control of my powers.
I'm ready to explore the next path.
Like before, this path.
Sorry, didn't mean to actually click you.
Step into the many paths once again, mortal.
The way they always have to say mortal. Oh.
Unbridled anger fills these holes. We have entered a war zone. Find the last ingredient, but be careful.
Dark Reeve Rune Master.
Reality in this path is extremely fragile. It might shatter. Hurry.
I'm not very good at hurrying, though. I always gotta look at stuffs. Oh. Out of curiosity, if I touch the glass, does it hurt me? No. Always.
Accumulate wealth and smile all the while. I don't think I'm gonna be able to read you guys the books. Maybe? Oh. Oh. Not that Oh, do you see the Hermaeus Mora tentacles? Hermaeus Mora. A divergence point!
Okay, I went to read that to you guys, but there's a guy following me. And look, he's a level 20. And I think he needs my help. So I'm gonna help him out. I will try to re-find the books that we find. I know what it's like to be a little level and he'll probably be just fine.
You must not bring that reflection any closer. Speak with me, and I shall explain.
All right, Torvasar.
Your Athelia, does she not sense it? The Athelia of this path, my prince, has lost herself. She has become the monster that Hermaeus Mora foresaw. If she cannot regain control, this reality is finished. Why does a mortal walk beside an Athelia?
I need to make a sage's dream so my Athelia can control her power.
Then I hope you succeed where I have failed. I tried to get my prince to calm down, but she lashed out at Mora's forces with her full fury. The more she fought, the more lost she became. Perhaps there is still a chance for you. How can I help?
Oh, Torvasard. The Lamp of Clarity led us to 2 ingredients. I think the final ingredient is here.
Why would... Oh, I understand. Azura's lamp wants to preserve your reality. By helping your Athelia regain control, she can be safely imprisoned again. The ingredient you need is close by. Loot berries. Hurry and take them before it is too late.
Okay.
Flee while you can, mortal. Save your own life. Just spare a thought for this doomed path, if you survive. I suspect we will not last much longer.
What did you mean that
I
you were...
suggest you take the loot berries and run. Good luck.
I'm never very good at running, either. What did you mean that your Athelia has become the monster Hermaeus Mora foresaw?
Athelia is the fate changer, the unweaver. She has power unlike any other Daedric prince. The power to shift existence itself. Mora long suspected that Athelia was dangerous, but full of uncontrollable rage. Reality itself unravels around her.
What happens then?
The unimaginable. Can you contemplate what happens when reality shreds like parchment beneath a saber cat's claws? Nothing remains when existence ceases to be.
Okay.
Mora dead! Down his eyes! Every one of them! What a monster! Behold the last tomorrow! Behold the destroyer of reality!
But we can always do better.
This Athelia shows uncontrolled rage. It will consume every piece of this reality.
Is she just gonna be that way? What? Uh-oh.
We must leave this path before my reflection destroys it.
Bye, lady. Sorry you're having a bad day.
There you are. Oh, come here. I have an idea about the sage's dream. Did you get lost down here? Yeah, that happens to me sometimes too. That woman is back upstairs, sitting by the fire. So I came looking for you. I think I figured out how to make a sage's dream, even if we don't have the proper ingredients.
No need to improvise. I have the proper ingredients right here.
What? You do? Well, that makes things easier. I'm not sure where you got ingredients that no longer exist, but the good innkeeper knows when not to ask questions. Can you help me make the drink? I'll read from the recipe book while you do the rest.
What should I do?
I turned my alchemy stove into the finest experimental drink maker in Tamriel. You can be the first to try it. For each ingredient, we'll need to get the temperature just right. I'll call out for more or less heat. You turn the appropriate valve.
All right, let's make that sage's dream.
First, place the tirum weed in the apparatus. Slowly apply heat to steep the Tyrum weed. Needs more heat. Too hot. Reduce the heat. That looks nicely steeped. Next, place the hawk fruit in the apparatus. Apply heat to liquefy the hawk fruit. Again, not too hot. It needs to be hotter. You'll burn the fruit. Reduce the heat. The hawk fruit looks properly reduced. Now add loot berries to the apparatus. You should chill the loot berries without freezing them. It needs to be cooler. It's getting too cold. Don't freeze them. Perfectly chilled. Now, to blend the drink. 2 parts steeped Tyrum weed and hawk fruit juice for every 1 part of chilled loot berries. No one ever wanted to try one of my... That's the exact amount of loot berries we need. That's the perfect amount of Tyrum weed. Don't add any more. Looks like a perfectly blended sage's dream. Pour the finished drink into that carafe. Now, grab the drink and take it to that strange woman. I'll meet you upstairs.
I think those guys thought when we were in that last room, I think they thought it was going to be a boss fight, which is why they all clustered together. But it wasn't. At least not yet. I imagine she's gonna be a boss fight soon enough. Definitely more ghosty people, huh?
Sage's dream. Do you have it? The storm abates, and I can clearly see the many paths. I can discern one reality from the next, and my mind is clear. I am myself again. I am Mnealia, Prince of Paths and Mistress of the Untraveled Road.
What about the echoes and the other strange things around the inn?
I shall set things right. The echoes I dragged from disparate paths are free to return to their own realms. and allow me to untangle the threads of fate and restore balance to this reality. I thank you, Pathwalker. And I am jealous of you.
You're jealous of me?
We learned that every Athelia is dangerous. A broken creature that ends up hunted. We cannot change who we are. But mortals, you choose your paths. You don't need the powers of a Daedric prince to alter your fate. I envy this. Goodbye, Pathwalker.
Wait, Athelia, wait. Oh. Okay, well, never mind. Don't wait.
You did it! Oh, that strange woman has left and taken the shadows with her. Ah, time to start running a regular inn again. Maybe I'll add this sage's dream to the menu. Provided I can get some more of those ingredients.
Okay, well... Oh, well. Okay, an abbreviated history of Skingrad. Skingrad, the gem of Old Colovia, is one of the oldest continental settlements within Westweld, with evidence of habitation going back to elven settlements of the Methic Age. Sprawling over several rocky outcroppings and connected by bridges, the city is eminently defensible and has expanded and contracted over its long history. Regardless, throughout the years, the city has remained a center of creative activity, food, and culture. Its temperate climate and fertile soil makes it ideal for grapes and tomatoes, and its cheesemaking is renowned throughout the world. And its cheesemaking is renowned throughout the continent. Skingrad is without a doubt originally an Ayleid settlement, though no written records found so far confirm that. Excavations for new structures often reveal buried foundations, underground passages, and mosaic floors long hidden from the light, all with the high elven style. Humans were also present, as evidenced by more humble dwellings and carvings, and most likely Enodoc people, as time passed. Following the Lessian revolt of the Enodoc peoples, the slow diaspora of the elves, Skingrad passed into the hands of human rulers. During this time, Skingrad was established as one of the many petty kingdoms which owed their vassalage to the White Gold Tower, but remained independent. With the cities of Anvil, Chorrol, and Kavash, they formed the nucleus of the Colovian estates, and resisted much of the influence of the rising Elysian order. Matters came to a head when the royal family of Skingrad was almost completely wiped out by the plague, and the senior surviving member, Doral Urich, an Elysian priest, ceded the kingdom to the First Empire. Another surviving prince, Rislav Lorik of Kvetch, led a force against the city and overthrew and killed King Dorald. Emperor Goris dispatched an army to Skingrad, but those forces were destroyed by Rislav's army, supported by his father-in-law, King Justinius of Kavesh. The defeat of the all-powerful imperial forces encouraged other city-states to rebel. The Colovia and the western parts of the empires fractured into smaller kingdoms, sometimes allied with each other, sometimes battling. Skingrad maintained its status as an independent state for centuries, but was eventually absorbed into the Riemann Empire as the men of Tamriel united to repel the first Akaviri invasion. During the period of the Riemann, Skingrad became more closely tied to Cyrodiil. The fourth Riemann Emperor, Brazolas Dor, maintained the country-estate nearby and spent much of his rule engaged in feasts and other debaucheries, allowing his potentate to run the empire. This era established the city as a hub for culture, supported by the fine vineyards that they had grown up around. Emperor Dor is said to have died on his estate following a particularly intense set of debaucheries. Skingrad became an ally of Duke Varin Aquilirios in his bid to overthrow the last of the Longhouse emperors, Leovic. With Varen's ascendancy to the throne, Skingrad rejoined the Empire as a vassal state, swearing allegiance to the Ruby Throne. In the present day, Skingrad is officially part of the Empire, but has not chosen to side with any particular alliance in the Three Banners. They aggressively protect their neutrality and maintain several cohorts of the Imperial Legion to protect their borders. This aggressive neutrality has not kept the current Count, Galantius, from launching his forces in an ill-considered assault on Reaper's March. Regardless, these actions have not dampened the culture, independent spirit of the people of Skingrad, and remains a jewel of Westwell. Okay, this is the one I was trying so hard to read, but that poor person seemed to be waiting for me, and I didn't want to keep them waiting. The end of the Elysian Empire is a challenging topic for any historian. It has been written that the Elysian Empire fell because of the theocracy of the Elysian Order grew too large to sustain. While accurate enough, it tells us little about what happened and why. The immediate cause of the Empire's collapse was the inability to maintain control over distant provinces, specifically High Rock. High Rock's merchants were dissatisfied with the heavy taxation and regulation imposed by the Empire, and the Order's hostility toward the people tainted by Altmere heritage certainly did not help. As the 24th century of the First Era opened, the kingdoms of High Rock withdrew from the Empire. The Order's theocrats sorely resented their loss of influence over the Breton lands. However, the Order refrained from sending a military response. The Prelate Council in Cyrodiil feared the cost of invading a hostile High Rock and trying to occupy it indefinitely. At best, they would spend vast sums to garrison the province. At worst, they might fail. They decided to bide their time, but in 1E 2319, King Daeson of Skingrad arranged a marriage between his son and the daughter of Queen Margaret Gardner of Way Rest. The threat of the dynastic alliance between the Colovian estates and High Rock was too dangerous to ignore. Archprelate Xerneas used his religious authority to forbid the match. Infuriated by his interference, the king appointed a high prelate of Colivia to approve the marriage. Xerneas, in turn, denounced King Desnin and all prelates who denied the archprelate's authority as heretics, and sent legions whose loyalty he trusted against the Colovian estates. The war that ensued is best described as a period of anarchy, local uprisings, and shifting alliances. It certainly involved very little righteousness on any side. Cyrodiil's initial effort to subdue the Colovian estates foundered in the face of stiff resistance, but the Colovians in turn had difficult uniting to pursue a campaign against the Eastern Empire. The main theater of the fighting soon shifted northwest to Iliac Bay, where Lessian legions scoured the Breton lands, defying imperial authority. The costly fighting in the west forced Archprelate Xerneas to strip the imperial east for taxes and troop levies. This alienated the Nebonese merchants and the nobles who had formerly supported the order at the very time the order legions were busy elsewhere. One by one, the city of the east came under control of local lords who resented the demands the order continued to place upon them. The end came when the great monastery of Lake Canalis was razed by Nebonese rebels when Archprelate Xerneas was killed. Left without command or pay, the Elysian legions fighting in High Rock abandoned their mission. Many legionnaires returned to their homelands. Others permanently settled the territory they already held, while a few turned to the brigandage. In 1E 2331, King Desnin arranged for a puppet emperor to take the Ruby Throne, and the War of Righteousness officially ended. That, of course, was not the end of the strife. Pockets of fighting continued in the outlying provinces, and the imperial heartland remained under the control of the local warlords. The disorders of the War of Righteousness continued for generations afterward. Such dry reading, for the only thing that it told us, the main important thing, was how the Elysian War ended. It was basically, they ran out of money. They had no more money. Oh, I'm actually not done. I'm sorry, I got all distracted. Oh, I'm back down there. I think I got through. Oh.
The pain is gone and the threads of fate have untangled. What happened in there, Proxy? I sense the knot in the threads of fate has untangled, Proxy. This threat to our reality has passed. Should I assume you are responsible? Tell me what occurred within the Outcast Inn.
The Daedric Prince Athelia lost control of her powers. I used the Lamp of Clarity to help her.
Proxy, you saved reality and discovered a critical relic at the same time. Hermaeus Mora was right to put faith in you. If Athelia has regained her power, we will need that lamp to find her. Would you mind if I take it to study?
Yeah, you can have the lamp. I don't care.
With Athelia free and more in control of her power, she still poses a threat. If you have an interest, come to Skingrad and meet with me again. We have more work ahead of us. In the meantime, here is the promised reward, with my thanks. I must contact Hermaeus Mora and inform him that Athelia has regained at least some of her power. Do not take this as a slight against you. Helping her saved many lives. It was the correct thing to do.
What will you do with the Lamp of Clarity?
Take it to Skingrad for study. Azura's lamp was designed to hunt down Athelia and her minions. Knowing how best to utilize it must be my next priority. Please find me there when you are able. The Chosen of Fate still has much to do.
Okay. Will do. And we still got places to be. Pretty sure this will be the end of the episode for you guys, so thanks so much for keeping me company. And I will be back for another one. Alright, it's same. I said goodbye to you guys. It's another episode, but timing-wise, it was a good spot to stop. So hi, I hope everyone is doing well. We are back continuing on our mini adventures. We've got some weirdness happening. There's a statue, I think, over here. Swirling libation. I don't think I want to drink it. At least not right now. I saved you for that guy. Now you're trying to shoot fireballs at me. Rude. I'm stuck in this bush. Right.
We can use this.
Hello. I'm gonna go pick this flower. I'm sure you can wait for just a second. Okay.
Betu! Excuse my shouting, traveler. You wouldn't happen to have seen a dog running around? Large, fluffy, carrying a very important estate-defining scroll in his mouth?
Why is the dog carrying a scroll?
Oh, it's a tiring ordeal. I'm visiting Westweald to execute the will of my late aunt, Lady Weatherly. The will my aunt's beloved dog Betu currently has in his slobbery little mouth. No thanks to Lady Weatherly's investigator friend.
An investigator?
Yes, one Mizik Thunderboots. It seems he and my aunt are old friends, and he insisted on helping execute her will. I've had my fill, but you're welcome to lend him a hand. In fact, I can offer you a tidy sum if you can help move things along.
Okay, one sec. Before I hit this, I was just thinking about the fact that it's Lady Apats. And I know I said in a few episodes ago, I had been surprised when I had heard that they considered Elder Scrolls Online to be canon. Because there's things that don't make sense from Skyrim and from the earlier games as well. There's a lot of plot holes and contradictions. I just realized they just made Gold Road the multiverse, right? So the reality that we're walking along may not be the same reality as Skyrim, right? It just multiversed us into this to cop out of any loopholes or out of any story plot holes and contradictions. Like, what? I'm not upset about it. It just took me by surprise. And I guess it all makes sense now, but... Huh. Alright, you guys let me know what you think. Anyway, alright, I'll go I will go speak with Thunderboots.
You can find Mizik just down the road, searching the Weatherly estate for Betu. He has quite a distinct look. You can't miss him. Khajiit wearing a broad-brimmed hat and big, heavy boots. Quite the flair for the dramatic, if you ask me.
Alright, tell me more about your aunt.
My dear aunt suffered a terrible fall in her library. It's tragic. She certainly had many more years ahead of her. Now those she left behind are trying to piece together her final wishes. Even her son deigned to return.
What do you mean?
I shouldn't be so flippant with my family's drama. Uriel, my cousin, disappeared years ago. My aunt believed he died in Varen's revolt. Yet, here he is. Something doesn't seem right. But I'll leave the speculation to the investigator. One Mizik Thunderboots. It's an odd name for an investigator, don't you think? Doesn't inspire a sense of discretion. Although, if what he says is true, he knew my aunt. If she trusted him, then so can I.
Really enjoying the costume change. I'm liking the aesthetic. I've always played angelic characters before, and I'm kind of like I'm liking the I'm doing good. I'm doing good things, good deeds. But we have a bit of Daedric in us, a bit of Daedric touched.
Dirt fungus.
I know, Lander. Fine. There's a will. There's a way. A little bit of lag. Nice place. Why is there wine? Who spilled the wine?